Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we are going to be timing up my STI motor. If you guys watched my last video, I had the intentions of getting the motor timed and this long block 100% ready to drop in. But unfortunately, I was not able to find my 22 mil for my crank bolt last night, and it was too late to go out and buy a new one. I looked all around the shop because it is kind of a mess in here. I thought it would just be hidden somewhere, and the one place it was that I checked like 100 times, that's where it ended up being. Don't mind how messy the tool cart is, but this is where I normally keep all my tools and parts for whatever I'm working on. And the socket ended up being right under the clutch, and I somehow missed it last night. But at least it is now a fresh day and we can get this motor timed. In the last video, we went ahead and installed the new IAG competition tensioner alongside the IAG adjustable pulleys as well. But today, we are going to get this 100% timed. This may be a shorter video because this is going to be strictly timing a Subaru motor, because I do have to record 2 videos today because I will not be in town tomorrow, so I won't be able to record. So I have to double up today, but that is okay with me. And plus, I feel like a how to time a Subaru motor is never hurtful. So how I've always timed Subaru motors and always been successful is I always get these passenger side cam gears lined up. You guys can see perfectly lined up on all timing marks. Now I need to get the crank in time as well. You guys can see it's just barely off. Alright, and now you guys can see it is perfectly lined up. Now we are going to be throwing on the belt. How I've always done it in the past is I've always had this idler taken off while I put the timing belt on, and then once the timing belt is on all the points it needs to be, I then lift up the timing belt and put this pulley back on. Not quite sure if I'm able to do it with this pulley on. I'm gonna give it a go, but chances are this needs to come off while I get the timing belt on. The timing the Subaru motors, in my opinion, is the hardest once you get to the driver's side cam gears. These are the cam gears that if you barely move will completely spin out of orientation. Company 23 does make a cam locking tool, but I unfortunately do not have that, or else that'd make my life a million times easier, but we're still gonna be able to get this no problem. I know with the stock cams, getting these perfectly lined up isn't that much of an issue. It gets tricky once you start having your built heads. I have GSE S3s in here, so it makes it all the more difficult to time, but nonetheless, very doable. It just takes a little bit of patience. You guys can see here, it starts fighting you, and that is when you're pulling it into time. And so right here, it does not freely hold in time, so you have to have someone holding this at all times while you're doing it, or else if you let go, it'll just spin. Or if you pull it too much this way, clockwise, it will just spin all the way around. So most definitely it's helpful to either have a Company 23 tool, which is perfect every single time, or if you don't have that fancy tool, you can just use a 10 mil Allen and have someone hold it for you. And here we go. We have our new HKS purple racing timing belt. This belt smells amazing. It smells like brand new leather. I absolutely love the smell. It made the entire cabinet in there smell like it too. So +1 to HKS for having a good smelling timing belt. So here we go. I have 2 ratchets with the 10 mil Allens on here. I'm having Bo come out and help me to hold these in the oriented form, and then it should be pretty smooth sailing on getting this timed. I did go ahead and just remove this idler right now because I have a feeling I'm gonna need it removed anyway, and I'd like to do this in one take, so hopefully that doesn't need to be on. We now finally have the motor timed. These adjustable pulleys are such a pain in the ass. If you breathe on it incorrectly, it will throw time off. These are such a pain to work with. It took probably 5 or 6 times, but we finally got it down. As you guys can see, everything is perfectly lined up, cranks lined up, and then all these timing marks on this side as well. So I'm gonna go ahead, pull the pin. I already turned the motor over to make sure it was still in time. Everything was. So now it is time to pull this tensioner pin.
This hurts me so much different.
So we have the timing aspect 100% completely done. After I pulled the pin, I was concerned because there was still quite a bit of slack on just this topper half and everything else was super tight. So I was concerned I messed something up with putting on this tensioner, but it's just freezing cold here in the shop and it's just slowly getting tension. So now you guys can see it's pretty tight now. So I was concerned I was gonna have to backtrack, redo the timing and pull off this new IAG bracket, but looks like everything is good. Now we can go ahead and throw on all the timing covers. And there we have it. The long block is now 100% complete. This is ready to throw back in the car. Once we get it onto the cherry picker, we can throw on the triple disc, but that is going to be in a different video. But we are ready to make this car run. I think the initial game plan is on Wednesday to get this motor placed in, get all the fluids in, all that good stuff, and hope for our first startup on Wednesday. That is going to be it for today's video. We got the long block 100% ready to go in. The only thing we are needing to do is to throw on that triple disc, but we'll do that once it's on the engine hoist. But I hope you guys are excited as I am to have this car run again and make some solid power.